So, if I'm being 100% honest with you, I don't know if I'm a workaholic or I have a healthy amount of work obsession. In fact, I've been thinking about this quite a bit lately, mainly because I don't know if it's still serving me to work as much as I do. 2 jobs, one being a 9-to-5 job. I work for a CRM company here in Arizona. And as well as that, I run a 6-figure business. Something I want to kind of think through a bit today. Funny thing is this is the second time I'm doing this video. I did this video yesterday. In fact, it was pretty okay. Like I went through the whole thing, filmed the entire day, got a bunch of B-roll, even finished it off with a cold plunge and sauna, filmed the whole thing, went and bought ice. That's why my inside of my car is all wet. I got to upload the darn thing last night, and guess what? For some reason, the SD card decided, nah, fam, we're not doing this video. I think that's actually probably a good thing, to be quite frank with you. When I first woke up, I started it, and I think I could have done a lot better. Like I said, it's kind of a good thing that it didn't go through, mainly because of the fact that I just didn't have the right energy. Like I woke up in the morning, immediately started recording, and I just looked tired, like my bags under my eyes. But today is a little different. I'm going to start halfway through the day. Not halfway, it's already 8:30, but a little bit later than 6 o'clock in the morning. Plus, Mila slept through the entire night last night, so your boy's well rested. More on workaholic, being a workaholic versus obsession with work in a moment. Here's what we got on the agenda today. Gotta catch up on some work, and we have a huge company meeting, and I'm also doing a webinar for Keep today, so that should be relatively fun. So after all that, I'll come back, we'll talk more about this whole idea of being a workaholic. Is there any advantage to it? And also, I don't have anyone to blame but myself. I'll explain that in a second. All right, so before I get ready, I'm getting ready right now to do a webinar for the company I work for. But before that, I mentioned earlier, obviously, how I have no one to blame but myself for this. Now, when I first got my first job, my first big boy job, I realized really fast that I didn't have the same experience that everyone else had. You know, most of the people I was working with were Harvard graduates, all this, and I was promoted pretty quickly. And I was kind of like realizing, man, what am I supposed to do? I'm a college dropout. I'm a nobody. And so what I realized early on was if I were to not compete with them, but if I needed to get to the point where I'm getting promoted and have more money, all this stuff, I need to outwork everybody. It's the only thing that I had. And so I got really good at just outworking people. If my boss, the director, or the the vice president was leaving work at 6 o'clock, I was staying in the office until 7. Even sometimes I'd leave only like 5 minutes after them, right? But regardless, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna outwork everybody. I would even, because I had a sales job, they were pretty strict about lunch, right? They're like, you gotta take lunch. And so I used to close my door, shut the blinds, have my lunch while still making dials. The whole reason I was doing this, once again, is if I just get a little bit better than everybody else, if I just get a little bit more work than everybody else, I can be better than everyone else. And this kind of stuck with me. It worked, right? I was quickly getting to the point where, again, I was a regional director of operations, it was called, quickly, getting to the point where I was managing people, all of that. And then when I started my business, the same kind of thing took over. Again, I realized that not, everyone that I was kind of competing online with had more experience than me, had more marketing experience, was in it for longer, they had more clients. And so once again, I kind of had this mentality, I'm going to outwork everybody. Only until recently, where I have a 9-to-5 job, I'm still doing the 6-figure business, that I realized that there may be a time where you need to shift and go from working smarter, not harder. You see, there's so many nights that I'm working late, or I realize in a week I've put in 80 hours because I'm never not working, that there must be a better way. And that's why I started figuring out, okay, I can find people that do the job better than me. I can use things like automation to work on those things to make things a little bit faster. But still, I started noticing something. I started noticing that when I wasn't working, I wasn't happy. You see, along the way, my identity became the workaholic. My whole identity was work. In fact, if I'm being completely honest with you, when I go to events or hang out with friends, all I want to talk about is what I do. Because it's interesting to me. It's like the idea of talking about something really basic is just boring. But that's not really great for life. There's work, Raylen, there's dad, there's husband, and there's friend, family member. Like, all of those things are different roles that I play in my life. But the one that's the most, I guess, the one that ultimately I use the most and I do the most and obsess about the most is work, Raylen, which I think needs to change a little bit.
Yeah, I think we'll see. Last time I lost my spot, so we'll see if it makes sense this time. But because I was trying to give real examples of like customers to work with, but as I was talking, I was like, oh wait, I don't even know what I was on. Like, where am I right now? So I'm gonna probably try not to do that as much. I have a tendency for my script.
All right, it is 6:24, and it is time for the second job. That's the time that I get to, step out of the 9 to 5 and work on the business. Now, before I do that, obviously I wanted to finish up our conversation. This idea is such a thing as being a workaholic, or am I just being obsessive about work because it's actually what I enjoy? This is kind of what I've come to the conclusion of. I had this mentor a long time ago. He used to say, Raylen, life isn't a marathon. It's a series of sprints followed by extreme rest. That's served me pretty well to this point. Yeah, I'm sure I'm pretty boring at barbecues because all I want to talk about is sales and marketing. You're okay. You can come in if you want.
I was just bringing dinner.
Look at this. This was not planned. My wife does not always bring me. Thank you. Hi. Want to say hi? Say hi.
Say mama.
Dad.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Life is a series of sprints followed by extreme rest. That's served me pretty well so far. As you can tell, my wife, my 2 kids, pretty happy. Yeah, sure, like I mentioned earlier, I may miss out on some stuff. And it's true that I've missed out on stuff in my kids' life. The one thing that I've constantly thought about, though, is I put it to work now so I don't have to later. Because of what I do, and because of the fact that I have a 9 to 5 job that I actually enjoy, and I have a, what you can consider a 6-figure side hustle, right? Being a coach or consultant. The nice part is I get to do things that maybe others can't. I get to afford to do certain things, and there will be a time where when my son has a jiu-jitsu tournament or my daughter has a recital, I get to say, you know what, I'm going to take the time off and I'm going to go do my thing. The trick to it is obviously building the business and making sure that I'm being effective at my job to make sure that my team can handle things while I'm gone. I think that's the true test, is how much can you get to the point where, yes, you have to do things yourself, but it's also about releasing ego and realizing that there's other people that can do things better than you. You just have to get to the point where you're the visionary and you're directing traffic. I'm still working on that part. You'll see here, I'm constantly going to be learning new things and testing out new things. But in the meantime, I think the way that I do things serves me pretty well. But everyone's on their own journey. As always, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below, what do you think? How do you manage all the things that you do? How do you know that if you're too busy versus being a workaholic? I want to hear your thoughts on this topic because it's something that I think we're all thinking about at some point, especially when we have a family. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you all in the next one. Let me get back to work.